Hello, my name is Brian Walker, and I'm an elementary school art teacher in Brighton, Michigan. This is a video of a presentation about my Wicked Problem project for CEP 812. The goal of this project was to identify a need or opportunity in my classroom and then address it with technology. The thing that I chose to address in this assignment was my need to make the process of teaching 5 different classes, or preps, in a day a little less hectic. There is very little breathing room in my workday, as you can tell from the photograph of my class time schedule on the left. Every hour or so, I'm dismissing one group of students and greeting another group at, more or less, the same time. Though there is a 5-minute gap between most classes, this time flies by in the wink of an eye. The question I had to answer was, how can I use technology to help make the pace of my day a little less hectic? I certainly had a few ideas, but there was one idea in particular that I wanted to try. The technology that I chose for my project was digital video. Specifically, I wanted to create some instructional videos using a flip video camera and some video editing software like iMovie. These videos would focus on teaching simple art-making techniques or processes that I would normally teach my students in any given art lesson by demonstrating them live, or as I sometimes like to call it, the old-fashioned way. The theory was that if students could successfully learn a technique or process from these videos, while they were watching those videos, I could busy myself with other tasks that need to be attended to, like clearing the tables of art materials from a previous art class, setting up materials for a new class, or just catching my breath. I borrowed a video camera and a tripod from my school's library, and I began filming. My short-term plan was to film a couple of videos, show them to some of my classes, give them a task to complete in which they would have to apply what I attempted to teach them, and then assess how successful the videos were by observing them complete the task. I also wanted to give my students a brief survey to get their opinions on this new approach to learning. After capturing the raw footage, I edited the videos together using iMovie. I included both audio and written narration into the videos so that my students could not only see the techniques I was attempting to teach them, but also hear and read descriptions of the individual steps involved in applying those techniques. Research has indicated that learning happens more successfully when concepts and ideas are presented both verbally and visually. This is something I have lots of experience with personally, since I've been teaching my students concepts and techniques verbally and visually on a daily basis throughout my career. I was hopeful that the use of video would make the process of teaching easier on my day-to-day teaching practices. My long-term plan, if these videos were successful, was to not only film more videos for use in my classroom, but to also make those videos available by posting links to them on my teacher webpage on my school's website so that students could view or review them from a home computer or mobile device. TPAC, or Technological Pedagogical Content Knowledge, is the framework that identifies what educators need to know in order to teach effectively with technology. At the center, or the heart, of TPAC is a blending of 3 different kinds of knowledge: technological knowledge, pedagogical knowledge, and content knowledge. In the process of working through this project, I had to think about how these areas of knowledge combined with each other to create new areas of knowledge. As I stated earlier, research has indicated that learning happens more successfully when concepts and ideas are presented both verbally and visually, and that I've been teaching students concepts and techniques verbally and visually throughout my career. With the use of video, I'd simply record the verbal and visual components of my demonstration so that students may view them on a computer screen, movie screen, or even a mobile device. Essentially, my pedagogical approach remains the same, but the difference is in the use of technology to deliver the information. How does the use of technology make the content I'm trying to teach more accessible to my students? Without the use of technology, I'd have the students gather around a table, and then I'd demonstrate the art technique I wanted my students to learn. It's an effective approach for the most part, but it does have its drawbacks. Some of the drawbacks include, number one, it can be difficult to ensure that all students can see what I'm doing. And number two, when I begin my demonstration, because my focus is on what I'm doing and saying, it can be hard to monitor how students are behaving. Sometimes students will act out in ways that I won't immediately notice because they're out of my field of vision or because I'm too focused on what I am doing or saying as part of my demonstration. Using video helps to eliminate these problems and ensure that content is more accessible to my students. Because the video can be projected onto a screen above the eye level of the students as they sit and watch, it is more likely that they will be able to see. The fact that I'm not physically and verbally presenting the content, I can better monitor the students, notice, and attend to any behavioral issues that may arise. As adults, it's easy to forget what it's like to learn to do something seemingly simple. There are many tasks that I want my students to learn while they are in my classroom that need to be broken down into several mini steps. In order to draw a straight line with a ruler on a sheet of paper, for instance, one must, first, decide where the straight line is going to be drawn. Second, position the ruler on the paper between the two spaces where the line is going to be drawn. Number 3, hold the ruler down so that it doesn't move. And number 4, move a pencil along the edge of the ruler while keeping it in contact with the ruler at all times. It is my job as the art teacher to take tasks such as this one and break them down into smaller, easier to understand mini steps. Once those mini steps have been established, I present them to the students verbally and visually, one at a time, in the form of a demonstration. After filming the videos, I posted them on my own YouTube channel. I felt that putting them on the internet might allow for easier sharing if I posted them on my school's website at some point in time. After putting them on the internet, I showed them to a few classes with an iPad and a media projector. Following the video, I asked the students to apply the skill that they had learned in an art lesson of some kind. In this particular grouping of images, you can see a group of second grade students viewing my video on how to draw a straight line with a ruler just before a drawing lesson in which I asked them to draw 10 straight lines on a sheet of paper. I used a survey and my own personal observations to determine how successful the video was at teaching my students their intended techniques. In the process of putting my solution into action, I discovered a couple things. Number 1, the speakers on my media projector were not as loud as I wanted them to be. I was able to correct this relatively quickly by borrowing an X Mini speaker from my school's librarian and using it when I showed the video to other classes. Despite the audio issues, many students were able to complete the demonstrated tasks successfully. The second thing I noticed was that the students were visibly excited about the videos. Some of the classes applauded after viewing the videos, and a few students requested my YouTube profile name so that they could subscribe to my channel. I implemented this project exactly as I'd planned to and found the videos that I filmed to be effective in addressing the needs that they were intended to meet. The survey results showed that the students, for the most part, found the videos not only to be enjoyable, but also helpful. The work that the students produced helped prove that the videos were effective in teaching the students the demonstrated techniques. As the students watched the video, I was able to tend to other things in the classroom that needed to be done, like getting the classroom set up for the drawing lesson that the students were going to do after the video. There are some things that I would like to do differently. First of all, I might consider getting someone to assist me with the filming of the videos. This might eliminate the need to reshoot certain portions of a video if I find out that the action is out of focus or out of frame, since the person helping me film the videos would be able to address that during the filming process. Number 2, recording the narration differently is definitely part of my plan moving forward. Because many of these videos will likely focus on what I'm doing with my hands, I can record the narration separately and import them into these videos without having to worry about syncing it with my mouth as it moves on the film. Number 3. Using an external speaker with my projector will help further ensure that the audio is easy for students to hear. Things that I would do moving forward from this project. Number 1. I will definitely film more videos. Eventually, I could have a sizable collection of demonstration videos to use in my instruction. Number 2. I will post those videos on my teacher webpage on my school's website. Number 3. It might be interesting to get students involved in the filming of instructional videos. These are my citations and my contact information.